Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 03 of my podcast. I am your host Kris, K-R-I-S, none of that C-H shit any day of the week, hell no. And it's been what, 7 days already since the last one, man. These are taking a toll already, man. I'm already sitting back. I'm like, I have to do another one in 7 days. I can't keep this up. A little bit. It's fun. But it can be a little stretch sometimes when you think, oh, what am I going to talk about for about an hour? So what am I going to talk about? I actually do have an idea in a minute. If you read the title, you already know. Well, let's start off on what I have been doing the last few days. First off, I fixed my Final Fantasy VII issue. For those that don't know, because I didn't really go into it in the last podcast, I talked about it on stream instead. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII on Steam, and on Steam it doesn't let me switch out. It doesn't let me tab out all the time. Sometimes I'll tab out, and when I come back, the game is black screen, and it will not come back. I have to restart the PC, and that's annoying. Whatever, I'm not expecting Square Enix to have great ports. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, if I need to check something, I'm going to save it, and then I'll just be able to turn the game off should it fuck up. So I did that, and I tabbed out. I came back. It was black screen, like I expected. And then I restarted the computer, and the controller wouldn't work anymore. So I'm like, well, this is weird. And then I went into the game with the keyboard, and the sound wasn't working in the game anymore. So no controller, no game. And I was sitting there and I was like, alright, well, I'm not a computer expert. It's time to look up on the Google and see what they're all about. By the way, I just washed my hair. I am not balding. It's just wet. I'm just looking at it. No, they must not know. Get the fucking can of spray. Hide the shame. But I had to look this up, and I looked it up, and I typed in Final Fantasy VII Steam. Controller not working, right? Came across a couple of forums, discussions, Steam posts, all that stuff, Reddit, all this good stuff, and everyone and their mother, literally their mother. I swear one of them was their mom talking about how their son can't fix shit. Probably my mom. But no, like seriously, everyone was like, yeah, anybody else who had this problem that was making this post, my controller doesn't work. They were all like, yeah, it doesn't work. You have to download like DS4 Windows or whatever it's called, or some other control pad emulation thing. And yeah, it'll work that way. And the dialogue, or what are called, directional buttons don't work on Final Fantasy VII on Steam anyway. It says it right there when you're buying the game on the side. It only partly works with controller. So you should have known this already. And I'm sitting there, I'm reading this shit, and I'm like, dude, every fucking button worked on my controller just fine, and now nothing works at all. So I'm reading through all this bullshit, and one of them was like, hey, well, when you have to start the game up and it forces you to use the launcher, the Square Enix launcher, play the game. And there's like settings and stuff like that, which, by the way, does not work with controller. I have to use a mouse, the fucking click play game. So I'm using the controller for big picture mode in Steam. Then I have to switch to the mouse to press play, and then I'm switching back to the fucking controller. But it says go into the settings. Go into the settings in this launcher, and right there you will see keyboard and an analog controller stick, and you'll be able to map your buttons there because it wouldn't work in big picture mode. And I was like, all right, let me try that. Went over to the analog sticks, or the controller stick section, and I had the controller plugged in, and I'm all like that, and I'm clicking like button 1 with the mouse, and then I'm pressing square, and it changes, and I'm like, nice, it's working. Button 2, with that circle, changes, lovely, excellent. Did that with like 14 buttons or something. Whatever's on the PS4 controller, I did that with all. Pressed OK, went into it, Controllers now working beautifully. Nice. So, we're playing the game. Wait. Hold on a second. Why is the X button suddenly okay, and why is the circle button suddenly cancelled? This is pissing me off. Well, maybe there's something I can do to fix that. Maybe I just button 1 at the wrong one and button 2 at the wrong one. Switch them over. So I'll go out and I'll go over and fix that. Right? So I did that. I went into it. Went back to the launcher, into the settings, over the controller, switched them. Wait, no. Launcher's no longer working in that regard anymore. I'm no longer, for some reason, able to change the controls. They're fixed. So I'm like, what's this shit? And I'm like clicking with the mouse, I'm clicking with the controller, nothing's happening. The fucking launcher's setup just not letting me change any of the PC, the controller controls. So I click on default. I say reset the default to see if that works. Works immediately. Perfect. Not an issue in setting it to default. But you know what that did? It defaulted to me not being able to use my controller. So I'm looking at it and I'm like this. I'm like getting really fucking pissed. Like you see this. This is fake, right? Everyone you look at on YouTube behind the fucking camera is fake as shit. This is me being chill. This is me being, okay, I know I can't say certain words into a microphone if I get really pissed. I know I need to be calm because there's a difference between being angry, ha ha, and being angry, whoa, Kris, calm down. It's just a video game, When you see shit getting thrown against the wall, that's when it starts being funny, At first you're like, yeah, he's rage quitting. But then the voice goes up a little too high and you're like, ooh, let me turn down the volume, tell him to shut the fuck up. You're 30 years old, get over it. So I'm like, I'm getting angry, I'm like, motherfucker, didn't work on Switch, doesn't work on PC, the original PlayStation 1 fucking release has translation issues, Final Fantasy VII fucking sucks. So I'm losing my shit. Controller doesn't work anymore. I'm not playing with a fucking keyboard. I could. It's a very easy game to play with a keyboard, but I'm not doing it. I want the full PlayStation experience with the translation all nice and pretty. So, a few days passed. I'm angry. I'm like, fuck it. A whole week passed, actually. Last podcast I made, I quit. I'm like, I'm not playing Final Fantasy VII anymore. I quit. Whole week passed. Then another 4 or 5 days. But then, about 3 days ago, I butted on. And I think to myself, what can I do to change this? What can I do to change this? All right, let me come in with a level head. First, let's focus on one problem at a time. We'll focus on the sound, right? We'll focus on sound. Google Final Fantasy VII sound does not work. A million fucking discussions. Google it yourself. Final Fantasy VII no sound Steam. Google yourself, motherfuckers all over, discussions. Oh yeah, that happens. It's PC gaming. The PC gaming is so much better than console. Sometimes the games don't work. What you have to do is you have to go in to the file and you have to find sound FGC or some shit and you have to delete it. And then the next time you boot up the game, it will automatically fix and restore. And it's like, great. So I'm like, okay, I have to look for this sound file. I go into the sound files. Not there. Oh. Maybe it's in a different file. Let me check all these Final Fantasy VII files real quick. No, it's not here. Not here. Oh, what's this movie stuff? What's it? Huh? What are all these movies? Let me click one of these. What the all the fucking game cutscenes are in the fucking folder for me to watch at any time. I'm looking at the thumbnails of motherfuckers. I'm like, who the hell is that character? I'm getting spoiled by the folders trying to fix the sound. And I'm like backing out. I hope it's not in there because I'm not going back in. I'm like, what's this button do? And I fucking click in some fucking cutscene that might happen like an hour or 20 hours in the future that I haven't come across yet. Fucking starts playing. You know what I mean? I'm like, holy shit. So I look through all the folders. No sound FC something. Does not exist. Maybe it's called something else for me. I don't know. But it wasn't there. So I'm back on Google. Pissed off now. I'm getting pissed. It's starting to go, but the veins starting to pop. I'm like, that doesn't exist, man. It doesn't exist. Stop saying that shit. It doesn't exist. And I'm looking through all these fucking conversations from 3 years ago. And some dude, some random dude, like some totally random dude says, well, have you tried starting the game up and then going down to the game's options itself and seeing if the sound in-game was lower down to 0? And I went, that's a really fucking stupid thing to say. That's a stupid thing. I'm gonna do it just because I'm at the ends with. Let me just do it. And I'm sitting here like this, you know, fucking brow going straight across, pissed off, just hopeless, pissed off. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Options, using the keyboard to go down, enter. Yeah. Oh, there's a sound. It's at 0. What? Special effects are at 0 too. Sound effects, 0. Alright. Let me put that up to 100 real quick. Oh, the sound's working. Back to normal. What the fuck? How does that happen? How does that happen? The fucking game locks up. Somehow, restarting it, reset the sound in the game options to fucking 0. Now, that's such an easy fix, right? Game locks up. Oh, let me go into options and turn it back up. That's never happened before in my life with any other game. This isn't something like you're thinking, Kris, that was a very simple fix. You should have known that. No, I shouldn't. This isn't something you should have to know. This isn't something I should complain about. This isn't something that should be an issue. I'm sitting there and I'm like, how is this a fucking issue? How is this a thing? How does this happen? Why is it reset to 0? The game black screened, a computer game black screened because I changed the fucking window. And then the sound and the controller fucking died. And suddenly I'm supposed to know how to fix the sound by just hiring it back up. You know? Like, oh, you just you had the TV on mute. You just press the on mute button. There you go, grandpa. You're all right. You know, pat. Good job, Kris. So I'm sitting there. I'm not even that angry. I'm just like, oh, that's how you do it. All right. Yep. All right. So maybe the controller needs to be fixed somehow too. So I'm happy the sound's working. Next thing, you know, fix the controller. Let's fix the controller. What can we do to fix the controller? I go into big picture mode on Steam. I go to configure. I'm like, all right, let me just figure these controllers out. Let me map the buttons themselves. Maybe they got reset. Let me go into configure. All right, so none of the controllers are set. Let me click on PlayStation 4. Right, configured. Nice. Now let me go into the buttons and remap it. I want 0 to be okay. I want X to be cancel. I like my Japanese setup. Perfect. Set up the directional buttons. Beautiful. Nice. So let's go play the game. I go to play the game. The game says this game was something along the lines of this game is not optimized for a controller setup. Some issues may arise or something like that. I'm like, oh fuck. Well, let's try it out. So I load the game up. It goes to the keyboard main menu. None of the buttons work. I'm like, fuck this. And then I look on the keyboard main menu and it says X for OK. And I went, maybe that's the keyboard. And I pressed X for OK. And it's like, all right, it's still the keyboard like it was the last few attempts. Suddenly though, main menu, circle and X work perfectly. I'm like, nice. So I fixed it. You know, circle in the game. Everything's working. Directional buttons aren't working. A damn. Not a damn thing is working with the directional buttons. Not one fucking thing. So I'm like, all right, what's going on here? 2 buttons work. No. 4 buttons. Everything works except the directional buttons. So now I'm using the analogs. I'm using the analog sticks. And I know many of you fine ass people. By the way, if you like this video, don't forget to like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to support the channel. Goes a long way. Anyway, where was I at? I kind of jumped into this story out of nowhere, I know many of you be like, Kris, it's fine. You're able to play the game. All the buttons work except the directional buttons. Just play it. I'm like, no, fuck that. This is now a mission. This isn't about me playing the game anymore. Fuck the game. Fuck the game. As far as I'm concerned, the game is dead to me. At this point, the game was dead to me. I want to know what fucked up and how to make the computer my bitch. Because I ain't that bitch's bitch. Hell no. I clean this bitch and I make it work perfectly every fucking month. And I make sure there's no issues with it. And it fucking crashes my game because I changed the window and then the sound's muted and make me look like a fool? Hell no. I'm finding out what the fuck happened to this controller and I'm going to fix it and I'm never going to play the game again after I fix it. By the way, this happened just as I was about to get Vincent, who I never got before, even though I played a game like 5 times in the past. I've never finished it. I've never gone past disc 1. This is the furthest I've ever gotten, except for the very first time I played it. And I wanted to make sure I got Vincent. And everything crashed and fucked up just outside the fucking safe room. You know, where the fucking safe is and get Odin. So I'm like, no, I'm going to sort this out. I'm going to fix this. Everything's going to be great. So what I do next is I go back on the Google, you know, the fucking holy grail of internet. I go back on the Google and I start Googling other ways to fix it. And I say, fine, fuck it. I'll download the DS4 Windows setup for controllers. I'll download some other thing. And I did it. Did all that. Downloaded it. Okay. Let me configure the DS4 Windows with my DS4 control pad. Alright, setting up there. Ooh, you're able to change the colors. I love that. I love the fucking color. Many people talk shit about the color bar on the PS4 controller. I love it. I love being able to change it anytime I want. I'm like, oh, I'm going to make it purple now. Made it purple. Dark purple. So I made it dark purple. All the buttons, tested them. You know, everything's working. Beautiful. Now to go into Final Fantasy VII. Kick its ass. Going to be working. Load up Final Fantasy VII. Doesn't register. Doesn't register. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, alright. DS4 doesn't register. I went into the game normal way with Steam and went into it with big picture mode. Didn't work either way. Nothing at all this time. So I go into the fucking settings for the launcher again, and now the controller's grayed out as if it's not even plugged in. So at this point, I'm pissed. I'm hella pissed. Fucking I'm like defeated and broken down, but with a fire of 1,000 volcanoes pissed. You know what I mean? Like I'm laying on the couch like this, and it's just pure rage bubbling inside of me. It's just like it's like I want to crush a throat of somebody. I just want to go, but I don't have the will to do it anymore. You know what I mean? So finally, I decide to reset every step and start over again. Went through all whatever 16 fucking steps I went through. This is a long story, right? Now, in real life, I'm cutting this down for you. Real life, we're looking at a week and a half of me wanting to play a game and I can't play a game because I tried to change the fucking window on a computer and it all crashed down. So I go through every step and I go into big picture mode. I go into configure. And I look at it, and I'm like, all right, everything is set up. Circle is circle, everything is set up. Why isn't this working? Now go back on the Google. I love you, Google. I go back on the Google, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, let me look through everything. I went on the page. Now, you know when you're looking for shit on Google, right? You're looking for shit on Google. You only go past page 1 if you're desperate. And God help you if you need to go to page 3. If you're searching for something on Google, you know how sad you are when you're getting to page 3. When you're scrolling down and you're like, please don't say I have to go to page 3. Because you know you're looking for a needle in a haystack at that point. You're looking for a Hail Mary throw from God himself. Like, please help me with this, right? I'm on page 7. And with each passing page, I get more and more depressed. Now the rage is gone. Now I'm just fucking sad. And I'm looking through it, and I think I came across, I can't even remember now. It was either a Reddit post, or it was a Steam post. Either way, some random dude in the comments, like just halfway down was like, yeah, you know, everything's shit. Fucking Steam shit. What you gotta do is, even if you're playing the PlayStation 4, just click on the Xbox controller configuration and then switch back to the PS4. Make sure both are ticked in the big picture mode, because Steam loves Xbox, you know? That's all you gotta do. That's all I did. It was alright. And everyone was like, yeah, sure. And I went, alright, let me try this. Controller's working. Everything's back to normal. Nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing wrong with it. Back to normal. Go to big picture mode. You see PS4 controller ticked. You see Xbox unticked. Click Xbox also. Don't highlight or anything. You don't need to fucking say you're configuring an Xbox. Just have the tick there. Oh, there you go. There you go. You know, you want to play a PlayStation original game, Final Fantasy VII, with a PlayStation controller. Tick Xbox. And I'm sitting there. And I'm like, testing all the buttons. I'm like, oh shit! Every button works. Every button does something. Everything's fixed. Wait. The buttons are in the wrong order. So I'll go back. Every button's working out. Directional buttons are working. Everything is working. Only now, square does something like open the map. Triangle doesn't do shit. Oh, right click, like turning right on the right analog stick, is now the fucking menu button. Triangle doesn't do anything anymore. Turning the fucking right click, turning right, but up, down, and left do nothing on the right analog stick, but whatever. So I go back in the big picture mode. Everything is set up perfectly. Everything is set up perfectly. I have it all fucking written down perfectly. So I say to myself, I'm sitting to myself, I'm like thinking to myself, okay, think like a fucking moron. What's the most basic bitch shit that could possibly be causing this? That should never be a fucking problem. Maybe something got reset. Maybe it got changed. Maybe something that wasn't there is suddenly there. Something that shouldn't be a fucking problem. What would be the most basic shit? And I said to myself, well, the music was down to 0. What if you're able to configure the buttons in-game and they just got fucked up? So I go back in, everything's working, all things fucked up, but I managed to find out what's the OK button. I think it was like square or circle or X or something like that. And I go into the configure and it has all the buttons here. And everything, there's nothing like triangle, there's nothing like square, not in the PC version. It's like page up, switch, menu, you know? And you have to kind of remember what all that shit is. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, let me change some of these and see what works. Oh, there we go. 100% okay. Everything is now fine. It's done. Completed. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Oh, wow. I'm so happy. So great. Ooh. Right? Fantastic. That's the story. I switched the fucking window. You know the reason I switched the window? I couldn't remember the fucking safe code to unlock Vincent. The only part of the game, Yuffie and Vincent are the only spoilers I gave myself for Final Fantasy VII, because this is my first time playing it. And I didn't want to miss those characters again. I actually found Yuffie during my very first playthrough ever. But I missed Vincent, and I didn't want to miss that character again. So before I ever played this game, I was saying, I'm going to find Vincent. I'm going to look him up and just get him out of the way, because he's going to be on my mind the entire time. And if I miss him, I'm going to be pissed. So that's the only thing I looked up. And I found that you had to get 4 codes to a safe. It was like right 36, left 10, right 59, right 96 or 97, one of those two. I can't believe I just know it off the top of my head now. Fuck. But I didn't know it. I couldn't remember it. So I went to switch the fucking tab out to look at the YouTube video I looked at where the dude was doing it. And I went, nice. I'll just do that. Tab out. Everything broke. 2 weeks. Everything broke. Everything broke. Now, on paper, here's what I had to do. Go into the menu, turn the sound back up to 100. Go into big picture mode and configure and re-click the tick that was turned off of the Xbox controller and the PS4 controller, and refigure the map controls. 5-minute job, right? 5 minutes of needless bullshit. I mean, dude, changing a light bulb is easy. But if you took a fucking caveman whose light source is fire and the sun, which is also big fire, and you said, hey, change the light bulb, and they went, why the fuck would I want to change the light bulb? You know, I go to sleep when it's dark. I wake up when it's bright. Why would I want to change the light bulb? I don't care about life at 2 a.m. I don't want to get eaten by a fucking dinosaur, you know, or some saber-tooth gorilla. So why the fuck would I want to, like, it's needless. It's pointless. But now I'm not shitting on PC gaming. I'm just saying sometimes there's a reason why console gamers say console gaming is more convenient. You know, there's a reason. I've never had this issue. 5 years playing games. Suddenly playing a PC game. I understand. I'm just saying. You think the story's over. The story's not over. Everything's working now. Except now L2 and R2 is switched because I keep fucking it up. I actually fixed it last night, actually. Everything's working now. Perfect. Brilliant. Love it. I can play the game. Went in. Unlocked Vincent. Kicked the shit out of boss. Beautiful. Kicked the shit out of boss. Kicked his ass. Got Vincent. Dude's a bitch. He's a bit full of himself. He's like, I don't know if he's meant to be like a 500-year-old vampire or a 16-year-old goth kid trying to be a vampire, but he's talking like a 16-year-old goth kid. Whatever. Dude's a bitch. Was not worth the trouble. Not worth the decade I spent wanting to unlock him. He's not a big bitch, but he's a bit of a bitch. So I'm fighting this other boss, right? I'm fighting this cave boss, this spider blue cave boss. And Vincent is now in my party, and he unlocks his limit break. I've never seen it. So I'm like, let me use the limit break. I have not, up to this point, gotten a game over. I have not, up to this point in the game, I have not come close to a game over yet. So I'm like, let me use Vincent's limit break, see what's cool. Maybe he sucks their blood and gets his health back, you know? Because there's a couple of moves like that in the game. Well, he turns into a fucking behemoth, or whatever one of those monsters are called from the other Final Fantasies. The purple dude. Only he's a midget version. And at first I was like, oh, that's alright. That's pretty cool. I'm not easily blown away. Like, I know if I seen that at 7 years old, which I actually think I did, I would have been like, oh my god, that's the coolest thing ever. My dude turned into a monster. That's so cool. But for me now, I'm like, okay, cool. And I quickly realize the giant blue monster cave boss that we fight, I think everyone knows the cave boss I'm talking about, is right after the town, Cloud Town. He heals from fire attacks. You can't control Vincent when he turns into the monster. And one of his attacks is like a flaming fire attack. So he's healing the motherfucker while I'm trying to use all my other limit breaks on him to kill him. And I get down to like, every one of my characters goes down to fucking yellow health. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at Vincent, I'm like, a fucking decade. 2 weeks of no sound and no controller because of you. And this is what you're doing to me. You fuck. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the screen. Like, my eyes are like this out of my head. Now, you gotta keep in mind. The night before, I just finally fixed Final Fantasy just before I went to sleep. I woke up, I'm like, I'm playing Final Fantasy today. And this is immediately what I'm faced with. My eyes are like that. Like, do you ever see those videos where the people are able to stick their eyes out? I'm like this, looking straight at Vincent. Like, if Vincent was a real person and he saw me, that dude would be getting a fucking restraining order right now. I was like, you are fucking dead. You are out of the party. If I get a game over, you're gone. You are fucking gone. Like, I'm trying to get the fun back in the game, and I'm just like, you are fucked. Luckily, Tifa, I thought she was just tits. I thought because Tifa is so popular and there's so many dudes out there that love big tits and gay chicks and dogs. Everyone loves tits. As someone who didn't play Final Fantasy and couldn't remember my first playthrough up to where I left it off, I thought Tifa was just tits. You know? Like, that's her whole gimmick. She has big boobs and people like her. Because, you know, that's a sexist thing to say, but video game characters are kind of like that. You know, we're a medium that really needs to get some fucking female writers to write for some female characters, you know? So I think actually it's going to be tits. Throughout the entire game, every fucking severe fight I'm in, MVP. Every time. Her finishing move is OP. As far as I'm concerned, she gets the damage done. Boom, boom, boom. And it's so easy to get the yellow strike or win or whatever it says. I'm like, fuck yes. She saves the day. I immediately leave the cave. I'm like, all right, Vincent, let's get Barrett back out. See you later, motherfucker. And I'm like looking at that bitch. I'm like, every time I'm doing something, I'm like looking at that bitch. So now I go off to another town with a fucking rocket. A fucking rocket just slanted. I'm like, hey, I have a vague memory of this town. This is where you meet Sid. And he's an asshole, if I remember right. Sid shows up and he's an asshole. I remembered right. So I'm like, nice. That's awesome. I bought a new shotgun for Vincent and all this shit. Great. Fucking fantastic, right? Then Rufus shows up and that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting because he's the bad guy. He's the main bad guy so far. And I'm expecting to have to fight him. So me, Barrett, and Tifa, Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa are going to fuck him up when we fight some fat dude that keeps wobbling sideways. And then we fly off in an airship, a plane, and it becomes a boat. But right after that, you know, and remember, I'm really pissed. I'm pissed at Vincent. At this point, I'm enjoying the game again. It's like I'm chilling out. I'm like, yeah, it was an ordeal. It's fixed now. But I'm looking at Vincent. I'm like, you nearly got me killed. 10 years, fucking fucked up controller, fucked up sound, 2 weeks not being able to play this game. I have spent over $103 on this game overall. I bought it for $80 on the PS1. I bought it for $9.99 on the PlayStation Store. And I bought it on Steam for $12.99 or something. So I bought this game a lot. I spent over $100, €100 on this game up to this day so far. And I've never finished it. So this is I'm determined, you know. So we get the boat ship thing, and we enter new land. When a cutscene plays, and it's me, Barrett, and it's Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa. And suddenly, Yuffie's like, hey, wait there, you know, something bad's gonna happen or something. And I'm like, what's this about? Bitch! That little brat, whom, by the way, when I was 12, I didn't know who she was, and I was playing Final Fantasy, and her jeans or shorts or whatever were really fucking low around her hips. And I remember looking at her and drooling, and thinking to myself, there's no way this is in a Disney game. How did this get approved for a Disney game? And I was like fucking like in the fucking little town, like one of the starting towns. You also meet Squall there, voiced by Dave Boreanaz, who could not give a shit about that role, Angel. But I'm looking at Yuffie. I'm like, what's she doing here? Stole my magic, stole my summons, stole my soul. Everything's gone. Everything's gone. I'm like, all right. So we just follow her, right? Yeah, you just follow her. It's very short. You go across 3 bridges and you go to her town. That's where I'm at right now. You think it's that simple. Enemies in that area, assholes. Assholes. You know what happens? I'm going through the area and I'm like pissed. I'm like, Yuffie, you are a brat. You are a child. I am going to have to kick your ass a little bit before I get my shit back. I'm sure you're a good person. I'm sure there's a reason and we're going to be best friends, but you're being an asshole. So I'm like, Vincent, my man, Vincent, I love you, dude. I know we had our issues 10 minutes ago and for the last 2 weeks, but you didn't steal my shit. I'm going to switch you back out for Barrett. How about that? Because you're a cool dude, right? You're a cool dude. I put Barrett in and I take Vincent out. and it's now me, it's now Cloud, Vincent, and Tifa, who I always have in the middle, so the ending scene is on her every battle. Get into a fight. Dude, the enemies in this area are fucking assholes without magic. Assholes. So we get into this fight. Vincent goes beast mode. And long story short, Vincent gets me my first game over in the entire game. First game over. That fucking asshole and his shitty limit break that I can't control. At least right now. I don't know if I'll be able to control it later. No spoilers. And I'm sitting there and I get my first game over. And the game over screen is like a broken CD disc or something. It's really cool. And I'm sitting there and I'm like this. Right? When did I last save the game? Fuck. And it followed by, you can't fast scroll dialogue boxes in this game. Can you? No. Alright. Gotta fight a boss. Gotta make my way through a cave. I'm going to train a little because my magic's going to get taken from me, so I need to be strong enough to be able to do some serious physical damage. And I have to press X for the next half hour to an hour to get through all this dialogue. Why is Vincent the secret character again? So that was my welcome back experience to Final Fantasy VII. I have since gotten to Yuffie's town, and I'm overall I'm loving this game. Loving this game. It has a very cool soundtrack that I always sing along to. I forget what it is though. It's like when it repeats and then it gets all hyper and then goes back down. And I farmed the shit out of that area where I died when I went back to it. They drop X potions there. I will say one thing about Final Fantasy VII. That shit is easy. They give you too much. I know Final Fantasy VIII is so exploitably easy. Like, you can break that game and become a god so quickly. But Final Fantasy VII, it's better. It's a little bit better, but you can still like crush it and just casually destroy the rest of the game if you know what you're doing. Like, I'm thinking, I haven't tried this yet, but I got counter hit, which is great. I got counter hit, and I was thinking, if I combine counter hit with cover and give counter hit and cover to the strongest physical guy I have, I'm gonna fucking eat ass. You know what I mean? Gonna be great. But right now, you know, I'm surprisingly talking about Final Fantasy a lot during these podcasts, but it's just recently come back into my life in a big way. And it's my first time playing 7 in the decade, like I said. And 8 is coming out, and you know I'm a big fan of 8. So I'm talking about it quite a lot recently. So you're gonna have to just endure. But other than that, you know, it's a great game. It's fucking fantastic. The only thing I don't like about it so far is the comedy bit. Like the 3 Team Rocket dudes that are walking around, the blonde chick and stuff, and the fat guy that was wobbling. I would change that out, make them serious, and put more emphasis on the environmental stuff. But I'm a tree hugger. Everybody knows I'm a tree hugger. I'm a big ass tree hugger. You know, nothing with a face. Hug the trees. So yeah, I really like that aspect of the game, and I'd put more focus on that. And I'd like if Final Fantasy Remake did that. You know, that'd be pretty great. But that's my little Final Fantasy update right now, and that's all I really got to say about it. I did start this conversation by talking about what my week would be like, right? Or what my week was like. Nothing really. I watched some football. Watched the World Cup matches, the women. They're awesome. And I watched the final today. Good games, Netherlands. Good games. You tried, but you failed. Get good, bitch. See you next week. I'm just saying, hey, nobody likes a store winner. Be humble, motherfuckers. Is what losers say. Hell hell no to being humble. I love that shit. I love that shit. Whether it's against a CPU, whether it's against a human, whether it's in a game, whether it's in real life playing some sport. I love getting the fucking trophy and going, nah, this is mine, bitch. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Because honestly, at the end of the day, as much of an asshole as it makes you to wave your winnings in someone's face going, yeah. As much as an asshole, only a bitch complains about it. Only a bitch complains about it. That's the only reason people don't like sore winners. Because there's a big difference between someone being an asshole and a winner and someone just being a winner who's like, yeah, I'm great. Because you could be a great person. Like, there's a lot of assholes who win things and they're just scum in general. But that's because they're scum in general, you don't like them. Not because they're sore winners, but because in general, as a person, you want to see them fail. But when someone else shows up and they're like a cool guy in every aspect of their life, but they win something and they're like, yeah, I'm great. I'm fucking great. You know, you can't hate that person. You can't hate that person unless you're a bitch. You know? USA wins. They're like, you good games. 2 in a row. Get me some opponents that will at least threaten our success. You know? Well, they didn't really say that, but I'd fucking say that. Hell yeah. So that was basically my week, just watching some women's football. And honestly, I don't like football. I think football sucks. I don't like the culture of football. Like, I'm a sore winner and a very humble person, but I'm a sore winner when it comes to things. I like it. It's just to fuck with them. But football in general has a bad culture to it. It's trash. I don't know what it's like in America, but in Ireland and England, it's trash. A bunch of scumbags. Fucking can't lose a match without trashing something. You know what I mean? And there's no honor in it. Like, you can be a sore winner, but play with some honor, you know? Fucking divers and shit. Dude, I got in trouble in school a couple of times because sometimes if someone was trying to dive around me, the next time they try to dive, I would give them a reason for why they're on the ground, you know? I'm like, oh, did I miss the ball? Ugh, how's your shin doing, man? That looks really sore. I wasn't ready. I was in PE during football. I was always like a defender, and I'd have no trouble throwing my body at somebody. But I was like the lazy guy defender. I was like the antisocial dude who had that like one friend, and if we were on the same team, we'd just be talking to each other the entire time. Like, yeah, what are you gonna do later? I don't know. Watch Pokemon. Oh, you watch Pokemon? I like Pokemon too. And then the teacher and the other players like are yelling at us. This is why we picked you last. You never fucking play. And we're like, sorry, dude. But when you try to play and the teacher yells at you, here's the thing. Here's one issue I had, and I was reminded of this today while watching the match. They got a penalty. USA got a penalty because Netherlands put their leg up high. To me, fuck that. That's not a penalty. Not a penalty. Yeah, the fucking studs hit the arm. Whatever. Get over it. The reason that that's not a penalty, I'm glad it was a penalty because I wanted them to win. But the reason that's not a penalty is it's not my fault you're short. It's not my fault you can't get out of my way. And I had this grudge because, I'm not a tall guy. I'm 5'9" now, but I was like 5'2" when I was 13. And there was like some fucking 4'8" dudes or some shit. And if the ball is coming towards me and some 4'8" dudes coming at me and I go to kick the ball, I don't want to hear the teacher blow his whistle and go, hey Kris, your leg's too high. No, he's too short. You want to start in midget division? Go fucking do that. But my leg's staying as high as I want to, And at that time, I used to do a lot of exercises and I'd be able to get my leg I used to do like leg stretches. I need to get back to that. I need to get back to yoga and shit because I can feel them hips getting tight, man. Those hips, I need to fucking... I think I spoke about this a few weeks ago. I need to get them hips tightened up or loosened up because they feel like they're old bolts that need to be fucking, changed out. But I understand shoes with the studs in it, kick someone in the head, brain damage, whatever. Like that UFC guy that got kicked in the head, But at the end of the day, if some 6'5" dude is running at you and you're 5'2", you don't get to complain that the dude's leg's too high. You're too short. Fuck off. 17-year-old grudges. But hold on one second. And my dog's here now. Say hello, Spot. Spotty. Hey, how you doing, man? Okay, he had no interest. Sorry about that. They were barking and raving, and ignore my exercise mat over there. I'm sorry. I work out a lot. Like a lot. Fuck. No, where was I? I was talking about football. Yeah, football. Anyway, that was basically my whole week, and everything's all right now. You know, I'm having a good day. I'm loving Final Fantasy VII. Don't get me wrong. There's a reason why I butch up with so much shit to get it working, and I'm dying to play more of that shit. I'm telling you that much. But today's topic I had in mind, it actually came to me while I was brushing my teeth for this video, is, and I quote myself, Metal Gear Solid, and you know what? I didn't even write it down. Would you buy a Kojima-less Metal Gear Solid game? Now, hear me out. Hear me out. A Kojima-less Metal Gear Solid game, if it brought back all the people that made Metal Gear Solid 1 through 3, except for Kojima and Yoji Shinkawa, or Kawa. Shinkawa? I think I said it the first time correctly. Yoshi's the dude who does all the artwork for Metal Gear, and Kojima's the dude who does all the Metal Gear for Metal Gear. But Metal Gear Solid has more than one writer. Namely, one person that gets brought up a lot for Metal Gear Solid 1 through 3. His name is, if I can see it, is Tomokazu Fukushima. I'm going to call him Tomo from here on out. A lot of people credit him as one of the bigger writers of MGS. And the reason why MGS 1 through 3 is amazing, and MGS 4 sucks in several ways, according to a lot of people. I know a lot of people see it as a masterpiece of a game, but the thing is, I think he himself has said, going off the internet research I did, he himself has said that he mainly did the optional codec moments for Metal Gear Solid 1. He also worked on, Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3. He also worked on Ghost Bible, which I've never played, or Ghost something. Is it Bible? Something else? And Metal Gear Acid games. But he didn't work on Metal Gear Solid 4, as well as another writer or two that did smaller parts that went away, but are still working with Konami today. So my question is, Kojima mainly wrote most of what Metal Gear Solid is. And he is the reason why Snake has the personality he has, Big Boss has the personality he has, and the Codex characters have the personalities they have, as well as all the perverted shit. And for people who are going to discredit Kojima entirely, with the other writers, they're, if you look at MGS4 where Kojima went crazy and did all this stuff I didn't like, well, Kojima also did Snatcher and Police Knots, and he wrote those games, so those games are pretty damn good from what I've watched. I haven't gotten my hands on them. I don't know how to play yet, but from what I watched, they are pretty interesting. And for that, I would say Kojima's credit is deserved with the Metal Gear Solid games. But my thought process is, Konami make Metal Gear Solid 6. Everyone besides Kojima and Yoshi Shinkawa come back. How does that turn out? How does that really turn out? First off, I think the game would be more simplified, which isn't a bad thing. I think the game could potentially be amazing. I think the game could be fucking phenomenal in amazing ways. But Kojima's style of gameplay and innovation is legendary for a reason. Every game he's worked on has been unique in a way. In fact, one game he wanted to make back in the day was a game that had a real life night and day cycle. And I don't know if it was the same game, but another game idea had it so if you die in the game's done. You have to buy a new game, a new copy of the game to play again. And these are all thoughts he's had long before games started doing the day and night cycle, and before games like Heavy Rain or something showed up where you lose a character, the story continues, and, you know, it's less extreme, but you can see the similarities. So for me, I'm actually at a crossroads for it. You would think I would be completely against the idea of a Kojima-less Metal Gear. But honestly, Metal Gear Solid 4 does not touch MGS 1, 2, or 3. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker doesn't touch them. And Ground Zeroes and 5 are disappointments. At least 5 is. Ground Zeroes give me hope. Now, I love Peace Walker, but when you compare the characters, you know, compare the cutscenes, it's about photography as a joke. There's like some weird ass deterrence storyline going on, and there's really no substance to it. If Peace Walker to me has always felt like a Tuesday in Big Boss's life. Something that doesn't get brought up again. Yeah, they don't mention it in Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, or 4, or Rising or anything. You could say it's because most of those games were made before Peace Walker was ever in development, so story-wise, they couldn't. But at the same time, playing it, you can see why in universe it wouldn't be brought up. It's like a Tuesday. You know, it's like, just something Big Boss did on the weekend. Metal Gear Solid 5 is empty in soul, story-wise. Gameplay's great. And Metal Gear Solid 4 is really trying to be up its own ass in many ways, and as many ways as it can be. Gameplay in all 3 games, however, are fantastic. So when it comes to this crossroads that I'm at, I'm thinking someone new who's worked on the Metal Gear Solid series, new to directing, who's worked on the Metal Gear Solid series from Metal Gear Solid 1, they could keep the essence, potentially, of Metal Gear Solid. But without Kojima's mad genius, it would probably not, as a game with gameplay, it would probably not be as innovative or as fresh and Metal Gear as the Metal Gear games are known to be. I think the big reason, though, for me to kind of be against it is not Kojima himself, though. It's the art director Yoji Shinkawa, because his art I adore, and he designs all the Metal Gear Solid characters, and he's designing Death Stranding's characters, and you can see with his art style how far it goes. Now, I've read, I haven't gotten the original source to this, but I have read that he had a bigger influence on the Metal Gear Solid series than you may think, because he's just an artist. Apparently, Kojima originally wanted Merle to be 14 years old. He wanted Snake to be in his 50s. He wanted Otacon to be a fat guy, and a couple of other design characters for other ones. And Yoshi was like, no, I'm going to make Snake look like this. I'm going to age Merle up, and I'm going to make Otacon a skinny guy who's into anime with the nerd glasses. You push them up. I've always wanted glasses just so I can do that. Hold on, let me fix my glasses. Although mid conversation, someone be talking to me, I'll be like, continue. You know, it'd be so fucking. You're such a douchebag thing to do. It'd be so funny though. It'd be so funny. Like, wait. Carry on. Especially if you got pulled over for a speeding ticket. You know what I mean? That'd be great. So apparently, and I'm not, as far as I know, the 14-year-old Merle thing and 50-year-old Snake thing, them being together was probably not written at the time. Then again, it is Japan, so who knows? And Japan did make Smash, and Smash players love smashing that underage pussy, apparently. So, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. But the art director has a huge role in Metal Gear, it seems. And it's always felt like that. It's always felt like, just say Metal Gear continued. Metal Gear Solid 6 was coming out. If Yoshi left, I honestly believe a massive part of what makes Metal Gear would be gone. He, to me, is as vital to the Metal Gear universe and Metal Gear's existence as Kojima is. He, to me, if he retired, I would be heartbroken. In fact, I thought he retired. I thought he wasn't in it back when Metal Gear Solid 4 was releasing, because I looked at the art and the American box, and I was like, dude, that looks awful. But then we got the European box, and he's there with the red eye and stuff, and it's over there sitting on my tray, and it looks amazing. So to me, if Yoshi Shinkawa was still with Konami and never went off with Kojima, and he was working on Metal Gear Solid 6, that would be a massive bonus for me. Overall, I feel like we'll see, to get the answer to this question on whether or not MGS could survive without Kojima, I'll see how I feel about Death Stranding and how much I love Death Stranding. If it has that feel, if it has that gameplay uniqueness and fun and wackiness but seriousness to it, before I decide fully on whether or not I'm okay with Metal Gear without Kojima. But I would never be okay without Yoshi. I'd never be okay. Dude, he is needed so badly. And him being around, I mean, I'm an art lover. Everyone knows I love drawing. Him being around is essential to me. If he's on a project, I'm interested in it. Like, even if I don't play the game, I'll look at the artwork that he's done. He did some like little anime indie game there like a year ago, and the fucking artwork looks fantastic. It's wild. It's so good. But if Tomo and some of the other writers did Metal Gear Solid 6, if Yoshi was on Metal Gear Solid 6 and Kojima was not on Metal Gear Solid 6, it would pique my interest. It really would. To see how it's written, to see how to go along with it, it's to me, it would be a big deal. I think so, personally. It's Kojima's baby, but 4, Peace Walker, and 5, we've known for decades that Kojima didn't want to continue the series, and I think that this interest, to a degree, definitely played a hand in how it was written. I've since Metal Gear Solid 3's release, a lot of people have this opinion now, but for me personally, since Metal Gear Solid 3's release, I feel that Kojima fucked up Big Boss. Big Boss in Legend was like 7 feet tall, badass, just unstoppable monster. Then you play Metal Gear Solid 3 and he's like 6 foot at best. He looks a little shorter than Solid Snake. Whiny bitch. Amazing game. 10 out of 10. Perfect game. Little bitch. Yeah. You know what I mean? They changed him. They retconned him a little bit. And the further games you go into, Peace Walker 10 years later, kind of whining. He has cat whiskers for some reason or some shit going on. Then you get Ground Zeroes and he doesn't talk much. And he has a different voice actor. Then you get Metal Gear Solid 5 and everyone knows, I'm not going to go into spoilers, but Metal Gear Solid 5. And now people are like, man, Big Boss a bitch. And I'm like, dude, I've been saying that since 2004. Now, I don't hate Big Boss. I'm just saying I would have wrote him differently. Personally, I wrote him differently. So, how much influence Big Boss was? How much influence was from Tomo? I don't know. As I said, apparently he really only wrote the dialogue for the codec scenes. But I think Kojima definitely started to drop the ball a little bit, and maybe a Metal Gear could be made without him. Now realistically, I'd bitch about it if it was announced, but realistically, you wouldn't get a Metal Gear with that kind of budget again, because one, Kojima's name sells. There's a reason he got a big entrance when he came back at like Evo. What was it? E3. There's a reason why people are interested in Death Stranding so much, despite not seeing any footage. Kojima. They see his name, they're like, oh shit, Kojima's making this game. His name sells. So, if they were like, we're making Metal Gear Solid 6, they wouldn't get that budget. The new developers wouldn't get that budget. And budget is one of the reasons why Metal Gear Solid is dead. They went over budget and it still wasn't complete. So we're looking at a less polished game potentially, or less big game. But for me, I'm happy. I don't want open world Metal Gear. Ground Zeroes to me is a better Metal Gear Solid 5 than Phantom Pain. The 40 minutes I played at Ground Zeroes is more Metal Gear Solid than Phantom Pain is. So smaller game, I'd be glad to go back to fucking, rooms as the areas instead of this big open world. I'd be glad to go back to construction or connection bridges and struts. Like I want that. That's my Metal Gear. I picture Metal Gear in my head as corridors and boxes. So a lower budget to me necessarily wouldn't mean a bad thing. You just gotta write. The main thing is write the characters right, write the story right. That's it. Gameplay is secondary to me when it comes to MGS. It might sound crazy because it's a video game, but it really is. But that's just how I feel about it. I'd love to know what other people think. I say that a lot. Like, what do you think? What do you think? But this is actually a topic I do have a big interest in, because someday it could happen. And what would you do about it? It's very rare that a series finishes, not disappears. It's not rare that a series will disappear into the horizon and never be seen again. But for a series to like walk away, like this is it. Now, of course, if Kojima was still at Konami, I'm sure we'd be getting Metal Gear Solid 6 instead right now, instead of Death Stranding. But it still ended. Like MGS ended with 4, and the next 2 games were kind of like, here's what also happened. In fact, if you're playing Metal Gear Solid for the first time, you can completely avoid Peace Walker and 5 and still get the full story. So this is actually a topic that's that I'm very interested in, considering Metal Gear Solid is my favorite game of all time, and for the longest time it was my favorite franchise. These days it's Resident Evil. But I have more I want to talk about with Metal Gear in the future. Different topics. Well, one in particular, bit of a rant. I won't get into now, but I'd say I'm 20% sure Metal Gear Solid 6 is going to get made, and I'm hoping it's going to be good. Same with Silent Hill. It's just sad because Konami in the 80s, in the 90s, and the 2000s, they were up there with Capcom, Like, they were like, dude, you see Konami's logo on a game? You're like, dude, we gotta play this game. Even if it wasn't the greatest game, you'd be like, man, we gotta play this game. So, seeing them gone hurts. Seeing them gone hurts. Maybe they'll get a new president. Maybe some things will happen. Who knows? But, that's really it. I don't got a whole lot of topics to talk about. Well, I actually got a whole shit ton I can talk about. Well, that's really where I'm at with today's videos. I get a little bit addicted to certain game franchises and to certain games. My dog's getting too hot to be on the couch. You going off, boy? I don't really get addicted to TV or movies or anything else in life. Sometimes a game comes along and I get trapped in that world and I'll be on the wiki for hours. And Metal Gear Solid is one of them, Metal Gear Solid means a lot to me. Fucking, like, emotionally. I'm going to play Metal Gear Solid 4 someday. And the saddest moment in any video game for me is when a camera falls to the ground in Metal Gear Solid 4. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. That is the saddest moment in any video game I've ever played. It kills me every fucking time. I don't even like Metal Gear Solid 4 very much. I had to drag myself through it to platinum that game 8 times. For like 90% of every playthrough, when I was going after those trophies, I had a podcast on and the game volume on mute. Not because the game crashed, but because I wanted to do it. And I'd listen to the podcast and I'd play through MGS4, getting the trophies, doing the different tasks for it. And every time it came to that one moment with the camera, podcast would be paused, mute would be unmuted, and then I'd be like, damn. And then back to mute, back to podcast, and just fucking trembling, you know? So Metal Gear Solid, it means the world to me, man. I hear David Hayter's voice and I'm like, oh shit, you got me, you motherfucker. So the thoughts of a Metal Gear Solid 6 coming back. If all the voice actors came back, if all the other writers came back, and if Yoshi was on it, which would never happen, but if he was on it, I'll be like, dude, I at least gotta check it out. But if Yoshi isn't and Kojima isn't, then who knows? It's amazing what one artist can change, isn't it? Like just one artist, like the character designs. And going back to Metal Gear Solid 1, I wonder, it really does make me ponder on the line in MGS1 where Campbell says, age hasn't slowed you down one bit. Assuming it's true, because I don't got the original source. Assuming it's true that Kojima did want Snake to be in his 50s and Yoshi changed him to be 32 years old. Maybe that's a line that Kojima wrote and really wanted in the game that was a leftover from the original script or idea Kojima had for Snake's design and look. You know what I mean? Age hasn't slowed you down one bit. Even though you're 56 years old, age hasn't slowed you down one bit. Makes a lot more sense than 32. Now, some people will try to push in the clone stuff. Oh, he's accelerating his age and stuff. That shit wasn't planned out. Kojima has said himself that he doesn't plan out anything for the next game. That before he writes the next game, he always had to go back and replay the other ones and then fit them in. So the clone thing, the accelerated agent, that wasn't part of it at that point in time. So maybe the origin is Snake was meant to be in his 50s in MGS1, and that line was written for that moment, and he kept it in because he liked it. And, you know, whatever. It's just something I'm thinking about. But other than that, life's good. Life's great. I'm having an amazing time. I hope everybody is loving their day. And if you're not, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You gotta change your outlook on life. You gotta change your outlook. If you're having trouble at home or you're having trouble at work or school, you know, sometimes you gotta step up and but work into making that a positive situation. And if anyone is having trouble, you know, I'm all ears. You want to say, hey, Kris, you know, sometimes you need someone to vent to. I'll read your comment, and I hope you have some people you can rely on because they're so important. I spent most of last night talking to a friend instead of sleeping because they were having a bad time, and it's definitely worth it. You know, definitely worth it to be there for people, or yourself. You know, it's very important to be there for yourself. It ain't always a bad thing to be selfish. Don't forget that. It's not always a bad thing to be a little selfish. It's totally cool. You know, if it's gonna fix you in one way or another, then you gotta get it done. You know what I mean? Don't be putting everyone before you if it makes you miserable. Like me, right? Like me, you know. Sometimes I'm a little down and out, but then I go, fuck y'all. I'm getting some ice cream and I'm watching some anime. Yeah, I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm looking at this t-shirt now and I'm thinking I need to buy a new t-shirt. This is like 12 years old. Wearing it looks fine, but it's definitely faded black at this point. That's kind of like washed out black. You can kind of see it. You know what I mean? A lot of white in there. But it's definitely like 12 years old. But that was today's podcast. I hope everyone is having a beautiful summer. It's way too hot for me. Can't wait for that rain to come back and flood everything. Fucking LA got earthquakes back to back. Don't you love global warming? Oh shit, y'all dead, man. Y'all dead. Better start getting selfish now and doing what you like, because you ain't gonna be around much longer. Oh, y'all fucked. Or at least your grandkids are. Hey, don't have kids, alright? Because if you love them, you're gonna put them into a world of shit. They're gonna be. You think it's hot this summer? You think it's hot? Fucking playing the World Cup in 30 degrees? You know? Fucking Celsius? I don't know what would that be in Fahrenheit. But what's it going to be like next year, in 10 years? Holy shit. This is a completely different topic. Hell no, it's not. We're going right back around to Final Fantasy VII. Environmentalists, man. Yeah, that's where it be. Avalanche. We got to stop all those Mako reactors, dude. We got to drop them on cities and shit and just say, fuck y'all. That's what you get for driving a truck, motherfucker. Fuck your neighborhood. Buy a flower. Put it in a little pot. You know, breathe over it. Oh, no. I'm excited. This year's been good. I'm loving doing these podcasts. I'm loving all y'all watching. And if you are really enjoying this, then it would mean a lot if you'd subscribe and press the like button. And subscribe on Patreon if you can. Massive shout out to people like Dr. Psycho, is it? Josh Mole, Michael, Dark Suicide. I have a couple of patrons that don't talk to me. People like Josh Mole and shit, or is it Josh Mole? Josh Mole, they don't talk to me, but they're patrons for like 2 years now. They don't comment on my YouTube videos, never see them in stream on Twitch. They're gone. They don't even fucking reply to my posts 90% of the time on Patreon. They're just like, hey Chris, we like your work. Boom. You know, I'll support you. And I'm sitting there and I'm feeling like, you know, if some shit's going to humble you, it's that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Half my other patrons are on Twitch talking shit to me. I'll die in a video game. I'm getting frustrated. I look down in the chat and I'm like, oh, pro gameplay, Chris. Good job. Good job. Perspective, am I right? Looks like you died again. Why not switch it to easy mode? I'm like, man, you guys are motherfuckers. You know, you talking about self-esteem? Fucked me up. Assholes. But people like Josh Mill and all that, I'm giving you a shout out today. You're probably trying to be all like, I don't want to be in the spotlight. I don't give a fuck. I'm dragging you out to the sun. This motherfucker over here, Dr. Dude, you know, y'all fucking help me out so much. You know who you are. And if you want to be a patron, then click the link. It's right underneath the video. And it will help so much. I don't really have much in terms of rewards, because what the fuck's a Let's Player going to give you? You know, here's another video. But if you want to support me, you can support me. And if not, then that's cool too. I mean, we'll talk shit about you if you don't, but it's cool too. You don't want to have any friends, it's alright. Fine by me. No, I'm kidding. But thanks everybody. It means so fucking much. I had a great day. USA. Alright. Good night, everyone. Oh shit. You know, if the USA lost the match today, I would have been just going. You know, when Tekken, if you ever watch like a fighting game tournament like Street Fighter or Tekken on Twitch, if EU is losing, they call them Free U in the chat room just to fucking, you know, rile up the EU viewers. And if the US player is losing, they start writing down Land of the Free in the chat room. And I love that level of shit talk, you know? So when it comes to the football, the day was EU versus America. So I was prepared for whoever was losing, I was going to talk shit about. You know, at the end of the day, whoever was losing, I was going to talk shit about. But yeah, whatever. Get owned, EU, you bunch of easy bitches. Man, you guys invented football. You don't know how to play? Losing to Americans? Do you know how many years they spent in Iraq getting their asses kicked by dudes with stones? And they had fucking tanks. You had tanks. You got your ass kicked. A decade. Can't play football. Beating the fucking Netherlands. Retire. No more, Holland. You lost the right to play football ever again. Free you, bitch. Get good. You know, that's what you gotta do. You gotta do just to rile up the other motherfuckers. All right, okay, I gotta leave it. Because I'll talk shit all night. The day was a good day. That Morgan chick, you know, I don't want to be a bandwagoner, but she hot. She hot as fuck. And the lesbian, you know, she hot too. You know, she fucking badass of the match right there. Main event player. That's what she is. Hell yeah. But truthfully, Netherlands, you did good. You had like 20 blondes on your team, so I didn't know who was who. But y'all were very talented, and it's really cool to see women's sport get on the up and up. We gotta get the female teams out there with more popularity, because honestly, dude, it's a lot more fun than watching a bunch of weird haircut dudes running around with fucking sleeve tattoos all day. You know what I mean? But yeah, whatever. I'll see y'all later. Peace out. I've been your host, Kris, Kris. Please like the video. Give me some comments to read. I love your comments. And become a patron. And I'll see you next week. You got any ideas you'd like me to talk about? Leave them in the comments below. And I'll see y'all later. Night. Much love. Not you, Netherlands. You suck. I'm kidding. See y'all later. Bye-bye. Love you, Netherlands. Love you, Holland. You know, bye-bye. Best friends.